Hey Rangers! Today we are looking at Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Pink, and this is a really good comic. As we open up, we see that Kimberly is in the changing room and she's wondering where her mum is. Her mum hasn't answered any of the phone calls and she's getting worried. Her friends are turning around and saying, oh, do you want to go out? You did really well. Do you want to do something? And Kimberly's like, nah, I'm just going to stay here for a little bit, etc, etc. On the next page, she is on a motorbike, and to be honest, it's kind of cool. When I saw the preview for this, I was really kind of shocked. I just really like the fact that Kimberly is such a badass in this. She is going crazy, and now this is all set in France, which is unique. It's something different. Kimberly gets home, she's like, oh no, I'm gonna have to break in. Her mum and Steven are going to go crazy, but there is no other choice, because for some reason I don't think she's got a key, but you kind of think that she'd have a key. Also, we find out that the entire whole place is kind of like deserted and there's no one around, and that's kind of a little bit kind of like, why? Kimberly decides to ring her mum, but then at this time her phone goes off on the side, and it's kind of funny because we all now really depend on mobile phones as well as like everything, and Kimberly's mum has just left it, and Kimberly says like, she'd rather give up oxygen than her phone. Kimberly is now getting dressed, she's getting like kind of like geared up. She takes money from her mum and says, oh, I'm gonna need this is gonna come in handy. On the next page we see Kimberly as badass as she is. She's all dressed up. Now this kind of reminded me much of a Hunger Games type thing, but she references Mad Max. I would have more gone with kind of like the Hunger Games more, because this is what this picture kind of represents to me. Kimberly hears sounds, she rushes off straight to find it off, and it's just straight there. It's like boom, bolted straight to these bad guys. Just before we see it on the next page, she sees these bad guys and she's like, what? And then suddenly it's like these kind of like monsters, like fish monster men that kind of remind me if they lived at like Aquaman's house or something. So we see this guy being kind of pulled away, so you know what's going to be happening to the entire town and what's happened that way. Kimberly goes on the offensive and goes straight for these guys, and her acrobatic skills as training as a ranger as well as for the gymnastics tournament has come in really kind of like helpful. In the next page we have a lot more fighting, and Kimberly throws the money straight at these kind of like fish guys, and she's like, thanks mom. It's like, your mom doesn't know you took the money though. Kimberly is doing backflips as well as doing really random things. The monsters are defeated, and then suddenly she chases after the guy who's like, follow me. I'm guessing in the actual thing this is what it actually said. Now we find out that this guy is called Serge, and he Kimberly has helped him, and she's like saying, oh, anytime I can help you. And then she starts to kind of find what's going on, what is happening to this small city or small town, should I say. Found out like a tiny bit of backstory about Serge and how he's saying that certain of these monsters have popped up all around, and Kimberly's like, oh, can you show me where they are so I can kind of find this out for you? The kind of reference, she goes, I know some powerful friends, and you kind of think she was like, oh shit, I know the Power Rangers, come on, I'll get them over here, I know them, we're besties, I definitely know they're gonna come and help me. She also promises she would not abandon Serge, and she's like, look, I'm gonna come back for you, I promise. I kind of think this will just be sidestepped, or the fact that maybe he might be a bad guy later on, and then Kim can't fight him. He's like, oh my god, you're the guy from the bistro, why can't I hurt you? Kim is now back at her parents' house, and she pulls out the communicator thinking it might not work, but it would. We all know it's going to work, and she contacts Zordon for the first time. Now I kind of thought it'd be this kind of like you'd see these little lightning bolts that you see that come out of the communicator, but no, it is straight away Zordon's head. He's come from above, and he's just there, and it was really weird. Like, it should be an outdoor type thing, not an indoor thing. Kimberly asks for help from the Rangers, saying like, can they help them? And Zordon says that they are off planet fighting Rita and Zed. So this will be interesting if they do a story arc after the main team, and then suddenly we find out much later on that they do go and help. So this could be a preview or kind of a hint what's coming up in the next issue or the next story arc of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers comic. Zordon says that he's sorry that he can't help or send the other Rangers because they're off planet, and now that there's possibly another way that can help her. Alpha then pops up somewhere, and when I was reading this to me didn't feel like Alpha 5. We know that Alpha would be talking slightly to Kimberly and say, hey, how you doing? Hi. Not straight into this sort of like, oh, I'm gonna tell you like I'm a robot. I don't know, this kind of put me off a little bit when reading. They start talking about the Sword of Light. Now I thought it was a power sword of transfer or something from season 2 when we saw Zach, Trini, and Jason leaving, when it was Aisha, Rocky, and Adam coming in, and the powers were transferred. So this kind of shows that it would have faded over time when the coins were copied. Now, that's a whole different theory for another video. What I don't understand is, like, when Zordon pretty much says, we can use the Sword of Light to reactivate that pink Ranger power temporarily, giving you the strength you need to fight this evil, to save this town and your family. Are you willing to become a Ranger again? And then Kimberly just turns around and says, like, what Zordon's offering is a huge risk to him and a sacrifice. I hope I can do him justice. And she was like, yeah, cool. And then suddenly she gets this, like, cool ass sword. And then it's like, prepare yourself, Kimberly, for you are once again a Pink Ranger. And I saw someone spoiled this for me the other day, and I was like, oh my god, I didn't want to know. And then boom, we've got a really cool kind of like Pink Ranger. Kimberly says like, oh yeah, this feels really, really good. I really like this. This is the best. And someone's like, yeah, you know, Kimberly, beware. The Sword of Light is a powerful weapon, and only that links directly to my power. Okay, so now we know this. If this was explained before, that would be fine. So this is possibly not the Pink Ranger. This is Zordon's power inside Kimberly. Basically, Kimberly's like, yeah. So I really hope in the next issue or near the end of the story arc, a bad guy character grabs that sword and uses it or runs off. This would be awesome, and Kimberly would be in such like kind of like really annoyed mode. This to me would just be awesome, and it needs to happen. Now Serge is back in. He's like, oh, you know, wonder what's happening. He's talking a bit of French, and then all of a sudden he sees Kimberly on the motorbike, and you would put two and two together. He's like, yeah, oh my god, that's really cool. It actually turns around 20 minutes later. I like this. Kimberly then finds the kind of like cave where all these like fishmen are, and suddenly one fishman jumps behind her, and then you kind of see Kimberly's new outfit, which looks really cool. It's something completely different, and I just like this. I like this a lot. Now in this kind of big spread picture, we have Kimberly, and she's like, oh, element of surprise is gone. And she just attacks all these guys. In one picture, I don't know if she cuts off the like swamp guy or the fish guy's hand, but it looks a bit like it, or at least his hand is caught to the wall so she can't move, or he can't move. One thing that I like, and I think they should use this more often, which would show like a kind of a power drain, is where Kimberly's fighting, and then suddenly all these like monsters or these fish guys have got hold of her, and she's being kind of like tucked down. She kind of powers up and goes, "Nyah!" And then like all the monsters go, so it's like using the power to like deflect it, which again has not been seen. She uses a bow as like I'm hitting you now, I'm hitting you, and then suddenly she's like, and that's how you beat the horde of creepy monsters, in like the pose of the Pink Ranger. Then out of nowhere, it's Goldar. He's come out of this, he's like, ha ha ha, you know. And I don't think it's like, I was expecting Kimberly Hart, and it's like, you know who the Pink Ranger is, Goldar. You fucking know these. Why? And you see Kim's mum. Kimberly then says, I'm a powered up Pink Ranger. Boom, let's get this done. You know, let it go. And Goldar's like, no, no, no. And then they have this like kind of like chat saying like, you know, Goldar, you're just a lackey for Rita and Zed. And Goldar's like, no, I've got my own things. It's like saying like, yeah, I can do this, I can do that. No, I'm not going to do anything. I've got my own plans in life. I'm going to be this person. Kimberly's like saying, let her go. And Goldar's like being a dick again. He's like, no, no, no. And then suddenly Kim goes, that voice, Kim! And then gets turned into a monster. And at that point goes like, Mom! Or Mum. We go Mum in the UK. Mom, no! And that is quite cool. My kind of thoughts on this is I really like the whole comic. I like the idea. I like the fact that the comics are kind of pushing further of the Ranger boundaries. We see that now this fish guy can turn people into monsters, so you can probably think that there's going to be some sort of control, and the fact is that these monsters are being influenced and they are the villagers from the town. This is what I really like. I like the new design of the Pink Ranger. I think it's really cool, and I know that people are going to be cosplaying it, and if they did different versions of this later on for other Rangers, I would possibly cosplay as this, because I really like the fact that it's a new design. The story is very strong. I'm very much looking forward to what happens. I think this is a really strong story, and I can't wait for more. This is something that is going to be kind of interesting and a really good follow, so definitely worth following. Subscribe if you can get it from different comic book retailers, but I'm really excited to actually kind of read along and see where they can push the Ranger fandom now that it's not on TV, but they can push it and they don't have boundaries to some degree. So this is really, really exciting. So Rangers, tell me, what do you think? Do you like the comic? Do you not like the comic? What are your thoughts? What do you think is going to happen? Let me know down below in the comments. And if you've liked this video, like, favorite, comment, and subscribe. Check out Yada Games, all that lovely goodness. And as always, Rangers, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in a bit.